Welcome to another edition of From the Front Lines, where we discuss both the day-to-day and one-of-a-kind issues facing real estate managers. Our topic today is a momentum mindset, and I'm here with Kim Becking, change and leadership expert and keynote speaker. Welcome, Kim. Thanks for being here.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Suzanne.
And Kim, you'll be speaking at our upcoming IREM Global Summit in Dallas on resigning as general manager of the universe, which I think we can all relate to. So thank you for being here and giving us a little preview of this. Kim, my first question, what is a key to be more adaptable in this world of constant change we're living in right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That resigning as general manager of the universe is the key, right? It's letting go of all the things you can't control and really stop shifting and reframing and focusing on what you can control right now. I hear a lot of people saying, I'm so excited. I can't wait to get back to normal. And I have a secret for everyone listening. There is no normal or new normal. There's only what is now and what is next. And the rate of change and the way things are changing, right? I mean, the last few years, we've seen that accelerate at a more faster pace than ever. And that's going to continue. So how do you continue to be adaptable and resilient in this world? And it all starts with letting go of what you can't control, focusing on what you can, and then really building that momentum mindset to focus on what's next.
Absolutely. And, there's a lot of negativity in the world at times. How do we show up as a positive force in this sometimes negative world?
Yeah. So sometimes right now, I don't know about you, but I feel like we're on an episode of Mean Girls. I don't know if you ever watch Mean Girls,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
and I think a part of the reason is, everyone is overwhelmed right now. It doesn't matter who I'm talking to, what industry. People are overwhelmed and exhausted and on edge. And I think from that perspective, right, every single one of us has to decide how we're going to show up. And we have 40 minutes in a day. As a leader, as a human, right? We get to decide with our 40 minutes how we're going to show up. So are you going to show up negative or are you going to show up positive? Because your words, your thoughts, your actions, your attitude are all up to you. And so I really encourage people to develop a 3-to-1 positivity ratio. So for every negative thought you have, or everything that you think of that's going to just put you over the edge, right? Or make you snap at someone. It's really stop shifting and reframing and thinking of 3 positive things right then in that moment. And then also really thinking about not only that 3-to-1 positivity ratio, but also thinking about staying grounded in gratitude. And no matter what, there's always something to be grateful for. So it's really shifting your mindset. And by staying positive, I don't mean toxic positivity. I don't mean we're all living in this world where everything's perfect and amazing and there's no negativity and there is, no bad, and you just need to be positive, Suzanne, all the time. That's not what I mean. What I mean is we have the choice. And so sometimes you've got to dig deep to find the good. Sometimes you've got to ask those around you to help you see it. But the good is always there. So how can you continue to be the good and see the good and share the good, regardless of the negativity and the circumstances around you? Because that's what you have control over.
And one of the things we don't always have control over is our stress and feeling overwhelmed. So in addition to staying positive, how do we continue to try to reduce that feeling of being overwhelmed that I think everyone's feeling right now?
Yeah. And this is what I said earlier. It doesn't matter who I'm talking to. Everyone is overwhelmed and tired and burned out and stressed out. And at the same time, excited and hopeful and ready for what's next, right? We're all on that roller coaster. And I think a part of that is really recognizing what your triggers are and having that self-awareness and that emotional intelligence to really understand where you're at. And as a part of that, to be open and be vulnerable and feel what you need to feel and allow others to do the same so that you can understand what are those stressors, what are those triggers, and how do you then stop, shift, and reframe and focus on some of those stress reducers for you, because it will look different for every single one of us, right? And so I encourage people to get what I call a resilience toolkit. Think about things. I have a question for you, Suzanne. Have you ever skipped lunch because you were working?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Have you ever sat at your desk longer than an hour without getting up?
Yes.
Right? We all do all of these things, and
Mhm.
other things, saying yes to everything when sometimes
Mhm.
we maybe should say no. We do all these things that create additional stress and overwhelm for us. And so what I encourage people to do is, right, say no so you can say yes to what really matters, to focus on your priorities,
Mm.
to have a not to do list, right? And then also to get that resilience toolkit. The resilience toolkit is a list for you. What are things right now that take 5 minutes, that take 10 to 15 minutes, and that take 30 minutes for you, that can recharge you, that can refuel you, and really allow you to build that resilience on a day-to-day basis, right? Without just saying, oh, I just need a vacation. That's a band-aid, right? That's not going to help you reduce your burnout and reduce your stress and reduce your overwhelm.
Mhm.
So it's really focusing on what are those things that recharge you and refuel you, getting that resilience toolkit, and then learning to set those boundaries, like saying no, or getting a not to do list, or doing those things where you're taking back your 40 minutes every single day.
So it sounds like boundaries are a big part of this. How would you
Yes.
recommend that we can set boundaries? What are key ways we can do that when dealing with burnout?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Boundaries are critical. And I think first it has to start with your priorities, right? And understanding for you at work and at home. Because, by the way, there's no such thing as work life balance. There
Mhm.
never has been. It's blend, it's integration. And now the lines are more blurred than ever. What do we do when our phone battery gets on 10%? What do you do?
Charge it up.
Charge it up, right? For many, they say we panic first and
Mhm.
then we recharge it. And for many of us, we're recharging our phones more than we're recharging ourselves.
Mhm.
And so for you to really start thinking about what are the ways, what are those boundaries, what are those things you're not going to do so that you can set those. So for me, right, I'm on my not to do list. I have things like check my phone from 7 to 9 p.m. at night. I put it
Mm.
upstairs. Now, at times, right, I need to respond to client work, but for the most part, I try to do that. Doing my own taxes just because I can doesn't mean I should, right? No, thank you.
Mhm.
Or my own graphic design, or scheduling a meeting. Here's a great one, right? How many of us have back to back to back meetings? Have you ever had that happen?
Oh, often, yes.
Right. And
Mhm.
so I have now on my not to do list, a boundary I set is I need at least a 5 minute. I would recommend a 10-minute break between meetings so that you can get a drink of water, or stand up and walk around, or get that cup of coffee, or run outside and stretch and get nature, right? And kind of get planted outside. So you have to decide on your not to do list, like what are ways that you can start setting some boundaries for yourself. And what does that look like? And then you have to let go of the guilt, right? Because for many of us, it's like, no, I don't, I feel bad. I want to be
Yes.
helpful. But you can't take care of anyone else. You can't serve your clients. You can't serve, those your colleagues or your families or your communities if you're not healthy and you're not taking care of yourself first.
100%. I love that not to do list. I've never heard that before. That is such a great tip. I'm going to try that. And Kim, you talk a lot about the momentum mindset. So could you explain to us what does that mean, and how can we build this momentum mindset going
Yeah.
forward?
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing, a momentum mindset is all about building unstoppable momentum no matter what's happening around you, and recognizing that you have that power. And so what it means is that, and I say you all, everyone listening right now, you all have been resilient the last few years. Actually, we're all tired of hearing the word resilient, right? We all know we've been resilient. We're still here.
Mhm.
And you dug deep. You found resilience muscles you didn't even know you had. And now many are tired and exhausted and overwhelmed, and yet we need to start reframing what that resilience means, because it means this. It doesn't mean just bouncing back. It means bouncing forward stronger and better than before. And that's what building that momentum mindset means. I want you to reframe. I want you to recharge and refuel so you can be ready for what's next. To do that, right, you have to have that self-care. You have to resign as general manager. You have to figure out with the momentum mindset, what are your blocks? What are your momentum busters? What are holding you back? What's holding you back from showing up as your best self? And so that's what building that momentum mindset means. It means regardless of the circumstances, you can stop, shift, and reframe and really figure out, instead of a momentum buster, shift that to a momentum booster. What are those things you need to be doing so that you can continue to build momentum no matter what?
These are such great best practices that I hope we can all internalize and apply. And I'm really excited for your session. This is just a preview, and it's made me really excited to hear what else we can learn from you at the summit here in October. So thank you so much for your time, Kim. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I can't wait to be with you all.
See you soon. Visit IREM.org for more knowledge to take on real estate management's most dynamic challenges. That's www.irem.org.